Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for popping by. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for showing me the love. Thank you so Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for liking the videos, for subscribing, for commenting and showing me love thus far. Welcome to another Temptation Island review video. So on this video, we're going to be talking about the season 1, episode 3 video. Yeah, this is episode 3. It was not as great. It was kind of a snooze fest, you know, at some point. But we pulled through episode 3. Yeah, it was not as great as I thought it would be, but things happened and we saw. So as you know from the last video, we spoke about that the last part of episode 2 was the bonfire. So basically the first part of episode 3 would be the bonfire. So on the bonfire, just to give you a briefer of what happens. So the bonfire, what happens is that the couples, the 4 couples, the guys and the girls are gonna go separately to meet Fat Joe, who's going to show them some briefing and a video clip of what had happened between their partners with the other singles in the house or the dates. So just it doesn't necessarily show much and you wouldn't know what led up to that moment. You're just going to see a certain amount of moment and then that's it. And then you're going to talk about it. So when it ended, they showed us Musa. So Musa was being shown where Fiso went with Bontle. No, not Bontle, Dimple. So when Fiso was with Dimple, they had a conversation and then the crush issue popped up. And it was like, oh, wait, so he has a crush so early, you know? And Musa was kind of on the fence about the whole thing, really. So we didn't really get much. She was kind of shocked. She was on the fence about this whole thing, you know? And I feel like most of the time their relationship is just, it should end. Honestly, it really should end. So moving right along, then we had Estelle. So Estelle got to see Angelique with Justin, and he felt like no, Angelique is not Justin's type, and he was actually quite surprised that Justin went for somebody like Angelique and didn't see you know what, they would work out. So that's what had happened. That's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna give you guys a brief of what happened. It was really not a great season, episode 3. So I'm just gonna give you guys a briefer of what happened so that you guys can understand. The bonfire was not what I expected. I expected more from it. I expected more, you know, drama nyana, spice nyana, but have mercy. So then we had Precious. Precious saw Grant with Nicole. And Precious was like, okay, you know, in Precious's mind, it kept on playing the thing of, I'm here trying to be, playing it safe and all that, whereas Grant is out here full blown in, you know? Grant is like literally within Nicole's pants, like literally their pants just needs to come off at some point, because Grant Utseni, like he is in on Nicole and nobody can tell him otherwise. So she felt like Horiana, she could just at least try to also be free, because she thought, no, I'm trying to be a bit distant for my man because I can't do this to him, but the man is out there doing something else, so why not? Then Ntabi saw MJ with Bontle, and with Ntabi's video, saw the part where MJ was feeding who's this girl, Bontle, and then after feeding her, he said soft lips. So since the video doesn't necessarily show a certain time where, okay, this is what happened that had led to A, B, and C. So she couldn't even know and understand, or, oh, okay, this is why he said this. So in her mind, obviously, like, she felt confused, because as she said, she was confused because she couldn't understand. Did they kiss for him to know that she has soft lips, or was it just looking at the lips? It was really just a confusing moment for her at the time. So then the guys met Fat Joe. So with the guys, how did it start? I'm not sure how it started, but I'll start with Eva. So with the guys, let's say Justin, right? Or let's start with Sfiso. So Sfiso saw Musa with Sbu. So now Sfiso's problem with that part, it was the fact that Musa went for a Xhosa guy. And she's like, no, how come she said that she doesn't like Xhosa guys? Why would she pick her first date as a Xhosa guy? You know, I'm hurt. He was hurt. Then Fat Joe pointed out the fact that, like, okay, she chose a Xhosa man, you chose a Zulu girl. Since you know their relationship, most of the time, there's this player, I'm Xhosa, I'm Zulu, hey, conflict. So he put it on the table, you know what, you understand? So why did you go for a certain type of person, which was a Zulu person, and she went for a certain type of person, which was a Xhosa person? Does that say something? You understand? So that's that on that. Then we have Justin. So Justin got to see Estelle. They were having drinks with Sbu and some other guy there by the table. And then Estelle was explaining the type of guy that she liked. So basically what she said is that she likes a guy that doesn't necessarily give her attention. You know, if it's that guy that would just look at her once and not even bother with her, that's the type of guy that she would go for. So Justin attested to that and said, yeah, that's the type of person she is. She would initiate the conversation. She would make sure that she gets the ball rolling. You understand? So it wasn't really that kind of moment for her. So then we have Grant. I thought Grant is very selfish, if I must say myself. Because Grant, as you remember, Grant, straight from the get-go, was Team Nicole. Grant, episode 2, was in the pool with Nicole. Doing the stuff is in the pool with Nicole, flirting with Nicole, connecting with Nicole. Then they show him a video of Precious with Dane. Well, they were in bed. They were talking because Precious took Dane up to her room and they were talking and they, like probably just holding hands like this. The other one was like this, another one was like that. So nothing major. Then Grant catches feelings. How? Brother, you are catching feelings. For what? Like, it didn't really make sense to me because you are the person that is there doing something like that is beyond. You are even going in for this guy, for this girl rather. You're going in hard, but then you want to catch feelings because Gailings is doing the same thing. Grant was just a bit too selfish for me on this episode. Like, I was like, bye. So then we have MJ. MJ saw the conversations. MJ was just chill because MJ, as you know, cocky MJ, always gonna be cocky, always gonna be full of himself. So he really was the MJ. I don't really need to say much about MJ. If you know MJ, his reaction, what he would say. So basically, that was how the bonfire went. So, good. The second dates are coming. So the housemates, I'm saying the housemates, we're not watching Big Brother. So the couples have to choose their new dates. Either they go back to their previous dates or they go back to their new dates. We start with Mr. Selfish Guy. So, how? Grant goes into the house, calls in Nicole. So I was like, maybe Grant is in his feelings. How calls in Nicole? Grant invites Nicole on the second date. Haibo Grant. What about the other ladies? When are they going to get a chance? They're not going to get a chance because you are fully in with Nicole. That's what we're seeing. So Grant went with Nicole and then Musa. Musa is the playboy. Musa is a playboy of note. So with Musa's situation, Musa gets there, calls Dimpo. Tells Dimpo, I can't take you on a second date now. Like literally gave her a Bible of nonsense basically because it really didn't make sense. Then Dimpo was like, he will come back. Right, we move on. So now I was like, okay, probably he will pick Palisa because he was with Palisa. Goes to Palisa, tells Palisa about how he can't pick her because it might be too early because there's feelings involved. I'm like, what's going on? It doesn't make sense. Like, literally, he broke Palace's heart. It was like a breakup, you know, an indirect breakup, you know, going in corners, say, unamela makhubas kloof. What are you, like, it was a breakup. So Palesa was like, okay, we move on, we move. She was hurt, but we move. Then he calls in Eve because he spoke about how Eve, she likes Eve, right? Okay, sharp, they went on the dates. So now, from all the ladies, from all the guys rather, the couple guys, MJ went with Bontle again. Their date, it was pleasant. Nothing much happened there. I feel like they're falling for each other. I feel like they're building something more, which is something I think Ntabi should be mindful of because she might lose her partner MJ to this girl. So that's that. And then Eve and Fiso. I feel like there's just sexual chemistry more than I feel like a connection of building something meaningful, something strong. It's more of a sexual thing with Eve and Fiso. That's how I see it from the sidelines. I just feel like Fiso and Eve have a much more sexual connection than they actually would have a much more meaningful, genuine connection. It's just sexual, and I don't know what will happen if they ever do the deed, because they might do the deed and then go their separate ways and find out, you know what, I'm not for this person. Because basically, sexuality is what's at play there. Justin and Angelique, also a good date. Justin feels much more comfortable with Angelique. They talk much more. They connected much more than I thought they would. And it's really pleasant to see, you know. I am for that. I am for Justin opening up and him being himself much more. And he's opening up bit by bit. And that's what we love to see. Then Grant and Nicole, lovebirds. A selfish man who's there, busy, but then wants to come and cry. Crocodile tears, I see. But their date went really well because I feel like Grant and Nicole are one couple that would actually end the Grant and Precious's relationship. I feel like Nicole is that person that would end the relationship. We're starting off with Musa. So Musa picked Kwanele. So I liked the fact that Musa didn't go for the same guy. And before that, before we forget, let's go back to the house. So then, Abut Sbu. Lamon. Sbu, Sbu, Hakono control Bahaya. Not at all. Sbu can't handle his liquor at all. Because Sbu wanted to go and force himself into Musa's room. Musa was like, no, you can't see my room, it's messy. That was just like some ploy to be like, no, you understand? Just give me an excuse and move on. But Musa was becoming agitated, like, why force her? Like, what the hell? Next minute, he's in the pool speaking to Precious. Precious, like, they were in the pool, the other guys, and Precious and the other lady. So then, Precious like, no, you have this in common. Mutu is there, and he doesn't have anything in common. He's not anything like Precious's man, and he is becoming so violent. I was actually quite scared for the ladies. And luckily enough, there were other guys there, you know, just to make sure nothing bad happens because of his behavior, you know. I felt like he thinks he's better than everybody there. He thinks he is the King Don of the whole ship, you know. Hi, man, he was just off, you know. I didn't see that of him. I was actually quite surprised when that personality came out, and I was like, oh, too much of a red flag, you know. I don't think really any of the ladies would want to pick him after that. Maybe he might apologize after the liquor, but we don't know. We'll actually get to see in the next episode because, like, what's going to happen. So then after that, we get to see the dates. So Musa, as we said, picked Kwanele. Their date was very quite nice. The conversation was flowing, and I actually got to see that, okay, Musa is actually building a connection with somebody else. It's not an immediate connection. It's not a full-blown connection, but there is something to work on, you know. At least, man, you know, when you're building the stage, you start saying, you know, step by step. It's taking steps, and we're seeing her going somewhere. Then the other person that we have is Estelle and Uzi. So Estelle picked Uzi. I feel like they're a great couple, man. I feel like they would work well together, you know. They were just gelling, they just play for what it needs to be. It was quite a good date. I can't really say much about it. I can't really fault it. It was just a decent, honest, good date. And then Ntabi and Brendan. So Ntabi picked Brendan. It felt like, you know, when you're going on a date with a friend, you know, it was just a date between two friends, you know, having lunch. I didn't feel any connection being built. I didn't feel like Ntabi was actually in it to make a connection with him. It felt like I was just passing time. You know, I have to pick somebody, and I just feel like I don't want to pick the same person over and over again. That's how I felt about Ntabi at that point. It was just her picking him to pass time. But yeah, then, oh, Precious. Ooh, Precious. I felt for the poor guy. I felt for Ayo. So Precious picked Ayo. You'll think that the date would go well. Precious, day. Yo, it was Dane. The whole entire time. And I'm like, give the brother men a chance. You know, yes, you might say you want to pass time, you don't want to pick the same person because you don't want to send in wrong. But speaking about the same person that you had a date with the last time, with the new person, girl, man, no. I feel Precious, that was a disaster of a date. It was a disaster of a date. You know, but that's how it went, you know. It went like that. So, got back to the house. You know that the mood at the house was a bit edgy. Then Max decided that, okay, since I'm also an exotic dancer, a male exotic dancer, let's bring something to the ladies, you know. Let's give them a show. So what they did, a couple of the guys dressed up in nurses' uniform, if you'd call them that. Like these are raunchiness uniform for guys, and they made the ladies also wear them. Then they put on a show, you know, giving some Sabawell, you know, could you ever resist temptation type of moment. Yeah, that's what really happened. Like, as I said, for me, episode 3 was not as good as I would have expected it to be. It was quite pleasant. It was not bad, but it was not great either. You know, you just watch it so that you can be able to follow the story. Because if you miss one episode, then what happens? You're not gonna know everything that is happening. So that's basically it on that. So thank you so much for watching till the end. Make sure that you do every single damn time. I know that I've been bombarding you guys with a lot of content. Hopefully you guys are keeping up. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the subscribers that are coming in. Slowly but surely we're getting there. I am so grateful. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you comment. Make sure that you click the notification bell so that you can get a notification for each and every video that I post. Love and light from me. Thank you.